All right, if your teacher jumped right into the quadratic formula and your head started spinning right away, this video is for you. I'm going to break it down in detail. I'm going to talk to you about the 3 important variables that we need to fill out, what order of operations we need to use when going through the quadratic formula, and then I'll show you how to get a couple of answers with some of our more low-level questions. All right, so the quadratic formula is simply this. It's a lot. It's elaborate. There's a lot going on. I will tell you right now, the sooner you memorize it, the better off you are going to be. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, memorizing this isn't something that's going to come overnight for most of us, but we dedicate ourselves, make a flashcard, study it. I promise you, just like many, many kids have done in the past, year after year after year, you can study it and memorize it just like them. All right, so what I like to tell my students to do, I like to tell them first thing you need to do is you need to look at the equation given to you and you need to determine what's the A, what's the B, what's your C. Then I like to write this out with empty spaces. So what I mean by that is opposite of B, I just say opposite of something. Plus, minus, square root of B squared is now something squared. Minus 4AC is now minus 4 times something, all over 2 times something. Notice that all I did is I rewrote the quadratic formula out, but everywhere there was a variable, B, A, C, A, and all of those spots, I just put empty grouping symbols, empty parenthesis sets, because all I need to do now is just plug some information into all of those empty spots and then work it out using order of operations. Well, we need an equation. We need a quadratic equation. So let's go with 4x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals 0. We've got this quadratic set up equal to 0. And because of that, we're now able to plug this information into these empty parentheses. One thing we need to know is the number that's in front of the x squared, the coefficient in front of x squared, that's your A. The one attached to the x, the coefficient attached to just the x term, that's your B. And then the constant, the number all by itself on the end, that's your C. So now we know our A, our B, and our C values. A is 4, B is -5, C is -6. So we go down and in each one of these spots, I need to plug in the right information where it goes. So let's just start with B. B value goes there, B value goes there. Well, B is a -5. Make sure you look at the operation ahead of the number or value. That'll tell you if it's positive or negative. So since B is -5, I need to put a -5 right here and a -5 right there. Next, 4AC. 4AC. And it doesn't hurt to have one of these in front of you on your first couple homework assignments, right? You might want to have that out so you can just say, where are the B's, where are the A's, where are the C's? Okay, know where all that information goes. So having that out or writing it up in the top left corner of a homework assignment, I highly recommend it to my students, especially when they're first starting to work with the quadratic formula. Okay, now we need an A value and a C value. Well, my A value is 4, so that's going to be a 4. My C value is a -6. Remember to look at the operation ahead, so -6. Super important stuff because multiplying 2 negatives together is going to give me a positive eventually. All right, and last but not least, we got 2A. So A term goes there, that's a 4. And now it's time to do some work. Okay, so we've got opposite of B. Well, opposite of B was opposite of -5. What's the opposite of -5, or what are 2 negatives going to turn into? I like to just erase there when that happens and write a positive value down. Start there. Start by changing your opposite to what it should be. Next, I go into the square root symbol and I'm going to square this value. Now, if that value is negative or positive, it does not matter. Because what's 5 times 5? 25. What's -5 times -5? 25. It doesn't matter if it's a positive or negative value. You know it's always going to come out positive because you cannot square a value and get a negative result. So -5 times itself, -5 times -5, that makes 25. Notice that I'm now just erasing and changing. That's what I would recommend you all do. -4 times -6. And then we're going to erase and change. So what's negative 4 times 4? Negative 16, right? What's a negative 16 times a negative 6? Well, negative 16 times negative 6 is positive, so I'm going to just change this to a plus right now. Positive. And 16 times 6 would be 96. And then down here, 2 times 4 is where you're going to want to go. You're going to want to simplify the denominator. 2 times 4 makes 8. All right, we're getting closer and closer to the end here. 25 plus 96. We're going to stay inside the square root symbol. We're going to combine those two values. 25 and 96 combine together to make 121? 121? Yeah. So we're going to say square root of 121 plus or minus 5 over 8. Notice that all I've done is combine those two, change it to that. Now we're going to take the square root of 121, which in this case comes out nice and neat. The square root of 121 we know is 11. So I got an 11 right there now. 5 plus or minus 11. This is where you got to get two answers. So you say 5 plus 11 over 8. 5 minus 11 over 8. The two answers you get would be your two roots. Those are going to be your two solutions to the quadratic. 5 plus 11 makes 16. Over 8 makes 2. 5 minus 11, that's going to give me negative 6 over 8, which simplifies to negative 3/4. 2 and negative 3/4 are your roots. Those are your solutions to your quadratic. Give you a quick rundown. That means that you would be crossing at positive 2 on the x-axis. 1, 2. There's one solution. And negative 3/4, if that's where negative 1 is, negative 3/4 would be right about there. And you're going to have this quadratic that's going to go and cross the x-axis, have two x-intercepts at those two exact points. Those are your roots. Those are your solutions. Hopefully this makes sense, right? All we're doing is taking information A, B, C, plugging it in for the B, the A, and the C variables that are given in this quadratic formula. I would highly recommend studying it over and over and over again until you have it memorized. The sooner you have this memorized, the better off you're going to be. That is an absolute promise to you. You'll be able to fly through these once you get some practice in. Keep on practicing, keep on trucking, and most importantly, thank you so much for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, and help me out with this channel, and good luck on your upcoming test. You're going to do great.